I have witnessed ruin. Not in the market's unpredictable whims, but in my own stubborn refusal to face truth. The cold, hard figures on the board, they screamed of capital annihilated. Not by external forces, but by an internal, unyielding blindness. I chased whispers of recovery, clung to the desperate hope of a turnaround, even as the tape delivered its unequivocal verdict. The cost of that delusion was paid in silence, in the stark realization that the market demands its tribute from the undisciplined mind. It strips you bare, leaving only one brutal truth. Your greatest adversary is not the market, it is yourself. I learned this through the sting of countless losses, through the bitter taste of opportunities squandered by ego. I learned that profit is not found in genius, but in rigorous adherence to a few unyielding principles. My early errors were many. I held losing positions, convinced my initial analysis was infallible. That conviction, born of pride, was the cause of deep wounds. The market is never wrong. Your position is this. Led to my first unbreakable principle. Cut your losses. Cut them without hesitation. Small losses are tuition paid. Large losses are expulsion from the game. Accept the mistake, exit the field, and live to fight another day. This transformation from stubborn hope to ruthless pragmatism is the bedrock of survival. Then came the opposite, folly. I snatched small profits, fearing any reversal. I saw a gain and acted on impulse, choking potential. This fear, this premature satisfaction, was the cause of missed fortunes. The biggest money is made in big moves. This revealed my second principle. Let your profits run. Once a trade moves in your favor, patience becomes your greatest asset. Trail your stops, protect your capital, but allow the market to reward your foresight fully. The market does not reward impatience. It rewards conviction. This shift from fear-driven haste to disciplined endurance unlocks true wealth. I fought the tape, believing I could outsmart the collective will. I bought into weakness, sold into strength, always against the current. This arrogant defiance of momentum was the cause of endless frustration and depleted accounts. The market's path of least resistance is its direction. My third principle emerged. Trade with the trend. Never fight the tape. Identify the prevailing trend and align your positions with it. Swimming against the current is exhaustive and unprofitable. The trend is your friend. Ignore it at your peril. This transformation from contrarian ego to trend-following humility brings clarity. Impulsivity, that fleeting urge to act, cost me dearly. I entered trades on hunches, on incomplete data, convinced I saw what others missed. This rush to action, this lack of patience, was the cause of countless premature entries and subsequent exits. The market will always present another opportunity. My fourth principle became clear. Wait for confirmation. Before entering any trade, ensure the market confirms your analysis with clear signals, not assumptions. Patience to wait for the right setup prevents costly errors. Protect capital by waiting for certainty. This discipline, this restraint, is the shield against impulsive ruin. Fear and greed, those twin serpents, coiled in my gut, twisting my judgment. I bought out of irrational exuberance, sold out of paralyzing panic. These raw emotions were the cause of my most catastrophic decisions. The market does not care about your feelings. It only responds to price action. My fifth principle, control your emotions. Develop an objective, detached approach. Execute your plan without emotional interference. Discipline conquers emotion. This mastery over self is the true battleground. I risked too much, too often, believing each trade held the secret to instant riches. One large loss, and my capital was crippled. My ability to trade, severely compromised. This reckless disregard for capital preservation was the cause of my most profound setbacks. Survival is the first objective. Profit is secondary. My sixth principle, manage your capital ruthlessly. Position sizing and risk management are the bedrock of longevity. Never risk more than a small percentage of your total capital on a single trade. Protect your principle above all else. A single misstep can erase years of progress. This unwavering focus on capital preservation is the foundation of enduring success. My most profound lessons, however, came not from constant action, but from the brutal discipline of inaction. I often believed every moment presented a chance, rushing into markets without clear conviction. This incessant need to be doing something, this inability to sit still, was the cause of overtrading, diluted focus, and ultimately erosion of capital. The market is a puzzle, not a race to be won by the busiest. My seventh and final principle: know when not to trade. The greatest profits are often made, waiting, watching, studying the tape, letting conditions ripen. Action without clear conviction is gambling. Preserve your mental capital, preserve your financial capital, for the truly opportune moment. Patience is not inaction. It is purposeful, intense observation. It is the hardest work of all, for it demands mastery over the primal urge to act. This final discipline, this mastery of restraint, is the ultimate edge. It transforms mere observation into potent anticipation. These are not mere guidelines. They are the scars etched into my trading soul. Each rule forged in the fire of loss, honed by the cold steel of market reality. They represent the internal warfare, the constant battle between impulse and discipline, between hope and truth. The path from despair to consistent profitability is paved not with cleverness, but with an unwavering commitment to these hard-won truths. But knowing these truths, these 7 rules, is not enough. The market demands more than intellectual understanding. It demands embodiment. I once believed profit was found in predicting the next move, in outsmarting the crowd, in possessing some secret knowledge. This was the gambler's delusion. The true turning point, the profound shift from recurring loss to consistent gain, came when I stopped fighting the market and started fighting myself. The market is merely a reflection. It reveals your impatience, your fear, your greed, your arrogance. Every loss, every painful setback, was not the market's fault, but a harsh lesson in my own psychological weakness. The rules: cutting losses, letting profits run, trading with the trend, waiting for confirmation, controlling emotions, managing capital, knowing when not to trade. These are not merely strategies, they are disciplines. Each rule serves as a crucible, burning away the impurities of impulse and ego. Without this internal fire, this relentless self-scrutiny, the rules remain empty words. The market does not reward intelligence alone, it rewards character. It rewards the capacity to suffer losses without breaking, to endure waiting without boredom, to accept truth without ego. The greatest revelation was this: loss is not failure. Loss is information. It is the market's brutal, honest feedback mechanism. For years, I viewed losses as personal defeats, evidence of my inadequacy. This perspective bred fear, leading to hesitation and greater losses. The true turning point was embracing loss as a teacher, as tuition for a rigorous education. Each cut loss became not a retreat, but a strategic maneuver, preserving capital and sanity. Each missed opportunity, due to waiting, was not regret, but a testament to discipline, preserving capital for a clearer signal. This shift in perception, from dreading loss to learning from it, was the ultimate alchemy. It was no longer about avoiding pain, but understanding its utility. The market is a truth machine. It lays bare every flaw in your thinking, every crack in your discipline. To turn loss into profit is not to magically eliminate losses, but to transform your relationship with them. It is to internalize that every setback, when met with objective analysis and unwavering adherence to principle, strengthens your resolve and refines your method. Profit, then, becomes an inevitable consequence, not of perfect predictions, but of perfect execution of a disciplined plan, forged in the fires of past errors. This mastery, this winning mindset, is built brick by painful brick. It is the ability to stand detached, to observe without emotion, to act without impulse. It is the recognition that the market is cyclical, that opportunities will always return, but capital and mental composure, once squandered, are difficult to reclaim. The game is not about constant engagement, but strategic patience. It is about aligning oneself with the immense, impersonal forces of supply and demand, rather than projecting one's hopes and fears onto the tape. This requires profound humility, a willingness to admit error quickly, and a steely resolve to follow one's own rules. Even when every fiber of your being screams to deviate, the market does not care for your opinion. It cares only for the truth of price. My journey from a reckless gambler to a disciplined speculator was the journey from believing I could control the market to understanding I could only control myself. The 7 rules are the framework, but the mindset is the engine. It is the unwavering conviction that discipline, patience, and ruthless capital preservation are the only true paths to enduring success. It is the quiet strength that allows one to sit through periods of uncertainty, to endure drawdowns without panic, and to seize opportunities with conviction when they finally present themselves with undeniable clarity. But this clarity, this hard-won understanding, was not a gift. It was forged in the fire of self-deception, in the crucible of denial. I had spent years believing the market was my adversary, a beast to be tamed, a puzzle to be solved with superior intellect. This was the most dangerous illusion of all. The market is not an enemy. It is an impartial judge, reflecting back the precise measure of your own internal chaos or calm. It shows you, without mercy, where your discipline falters, where your patience wanes, where your greed blinds you, and where your fear paralyzes your resolve. Every single loss, every devastating drawdown, was not a failure of my external strategy, but a glaring indictment of my internal state. This was the brutal truth that shattered my old self. The rules I codified: cut losses, let profits run, trade the trend, wait for confirmation, control emotions, manage capital, know when to stand aside. They are not magic formulas. They are instruments of self-discovery, tools to confront and conquer the inherent psychological flaws that plague every human being who dares to face the tape. Each rule is a boundary, a guardrail against the destructive impulses of hope and fear. To cut a loss is not merely a financial decision. It is an act of profound psychological humility, an admission of error, a surrender of ego. To let profits run is not just about maximizing returns. It is an exercise in profound patience, a victory over the primal urge to snatch immediate gratification. These actions, repeated relentlessly, transform the trader, not just the trading account. The market does not care for your cleverness, your predictions, or your elaborate theories. It cares only for the truth of price action, driven by the impersonal forces of supply and demand. My journey from a reckless gambler, driven by impulse and illusion, to a disciplined speculator, was the agonizing process of shedding these self-serving fantasies. It was the realization that my real battle was never against the market, but against the insidious whispers of my own mind. The market was merely the arena where this internal war played out, a mirror reflecting the precise state of my self-mastery. This was the epiphany. The market provides the battlefield, but the war is fought entirely within. This internal war is relentless. It demands constant vigilance. The moment you believe you have conquered your emotions, the market will present a scenario designed to exploit your deepest vulnerabilities. A sudden, unexpected reversal will test your conviction. A prolonged period of inaction will test your patience. A quick, easy gain will test your discipline against greed. There is no final victory, only continuous engagement with the self. Each trade, each decision, is a reaffirmation of your commitment to these principles, a renewed pledge to yourself. The winning mindset is not a fixed state. It is a dynamic process of relentless self-correction, of brutal honesty, of unyielding adherence to what has been proven true, time and again, in the unforgiving arena of speculation. To truly turn loss into profit, one must first transform loss into knowledge. Not abstract knowledge, but visceral, painful understanding. I learned to view every mistake, every drawdown, not as a personal failure, but as critical feedback. The market was my most expensive, yet most effective, teacher. It taught me that pain, when embraced and analyzed without emotion, becomes the most potent catalyst for growth. The sting of a cut loss, the frustration of a missed opportunity due to waiting, these sensations were not to be avoided, but to be processed, dissected, and integrated into a stronger framework. This emotional detachment from outcome, this scientific approach to error, was the key. It allowed me to extract the lesson without being consumed by the emotion. This transformation of perspective was the ultimate alchemy. It transmuted the raw material of failure into the pure gold of wisdom. I ceased to be a reactive participant, tossed by the market's waves, and became an active student, learning its rhythms, understanding its language, but most importantly, understanding my own responses to it. The 7 rules became not shackles, but liberating principles. They freed me from the tyranny of my own impulses, from the destructive cycles of fear and hope. They allowed me to see the market not as a source of quick riches, but as a vast, complex mechanism that rewards only those who align themselves with its truth, and who master their own internal landscape. The profitable trader does not predict, he observes. He does not hope. He acts on conviction. He does not gamble. He manages risk with surgical precision. This is the difference. It is the profound humility to admit you know nothing about tomorrow, but the absolute certainty that you know everything about how you will react today. This internal fortitude, this unwavering commitment to one's own disciplined process, is what separates the enduring winner from the inevitable loser. It is the quiet, relentless work of building an unshakable inner fortress against the market's relentless assaults on your psychology. The market offers no sympathy, no understanding for your struggles. It simply is. It moves with an impersonal force, driven by millions of decisions, none of them concerned with your personal ledger. To project emotion onto this indifferent entity is to invite ruin. I learned this through the slow, agonizing process of divorcing my own desires from the cold, hard reality of price. My early belief was that I could bend the market to my will, that my intellect was superior. This arrogance was the most expensive education I ever received. The market does not care for your opinion. It cares only for the truth of its own action. The 7 rules, then, are not merely strategies for profit. They are instruments for achieving this necessary detachment. Each rule is a boundary, a defense against the very human tendencies that destroy capital. To cut a loss is an act of surrendering ego, of admitting error swiftly. To let profits run is an exercise in profound patience, a triumph over the primal urge for immediate gratification. To trade with the trend is to align with the inevitable, rather than fighting against an immovable force. To wait for confirmation is to conquer impulsivity, to choose certainty over speculation. To control emotions is to wage war against the most destructive forces within oneself. To manage capital ruthlessly is to prioritize survival above all else. And to know when not to trade is the ultimate discipline, the mastery of inaction, the recognition that sometimes the most powerful move is to make no move at all. These are not intellectual exercises. They are battles fought and won within the confines of your own mind, day after day. The true transformation occurs when these rules cease to be external impositions and become internal convictions. When they are not what I should do, but what I naturally do. The winning mindset is not about eliminating fear or greed entirely, for they are inherent to the human condition, but about rendering them powerless over your decisions. It is the profound acceptance that you cannot control the market, only your response to it. This acceptance liberates you. It shifts your focus from the chaotic external to the disciplined internal. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing your process is sound, your defenses are strong, and your capital is protected, regardless of the market's immediate whims. This is the peace that underpins enduring success. A peace forged in the fires of past mistakes and cemented by unwavering adherence to principle. The speculator who has cultivated this mindset no longer seeks to predict the unpredictable. He seeks to observe, to understand, and to act only when the odds are overwhelmingly in his favor. When the market speaks with clarity, not whispers. He understands that opportunities are cyclical, abundant, and will always return. His patience is not passive. It is an active, intense observation, waiting for the perfect moment to deploy capital. He has learned that the greatest profit often comes from the greatest restraint, from the discipline of sitting still when others are frantically chasing shadows. His capital is not merely money. It is his instrument, his survival, his ability to participate in the game. He treats it with a reverence born of hard-won lessons, never risking it foolishly, always preserving it for the undeniable opportunities. I once believed the market was a game of wits, a contest against other minds. I was wrong. It is a mirror. It reflects, with brutal honesty, the precise measure of your self-mastery, the true revelation, the profound shift that turned my losses into a roadmap for profit. Was this: the market does not yield to intelligence, nor to luck, but to character. It rewards the trader who has conquered himself, who has stripped away the layers of fear, greed, and ego, and stands exposed, yet unyielding, before the truth of price. This is the ultimate lesson, the one that makes all the others possible. This character is not innate. It is forged in the crucible of every losing trade, every moment of doubt, every temptation to deviate from the plan. It is the quiet, relentless discipline of showing up, day after day, not to conquer the market, but to conquer the incessant urges within. It is the unwavering commitment to a process that, while not glamorous, is undeniably effective. The market will test you relentlessly. It will find every crack in your resolve, every weakness in your discipline. But for the trader who has embraced these truths, who has made these rules a part of his very being, these tests become opportunities for refinement, not destruction. He understands that the real battle is not against external forces, but against the internal chaos that seeks to undermine his judgment and deplete his capital. And so, the journey from ruin to mastery is not a swift ascent, but a brutal, unyielding excavation of self. It is the dismantling of every illusion, every comforting lie, until only the stark truth remains. The market, in its relentless impartiality, forces this reckoning. It cares not for your hopes, your fears, your cleverness. It demands only discipline, patience, and an unwavering commitment to its own undeniable reality. The 7 rules I have laid bare are not mere suggestions. They are the iron framework upon which this winning mindset is built. They are the constant reminders that the battle is waged within, that every decision, every trade, is a test of your internal fortitude. To embrace them is to embrace the truth of the market, and in doing so, to embrace the truth of yourself. This is the ultimate alchemy, transforming the sting of loss into the enduring strength of profit. It is not about eliminating losses, for they are inevitable. It is about transforming your relationship with them, viewing each setback as a tuition payment for an invaluable education, a calibration of your method, a sharpening of your resolve. The market will continue to present its challenges, but with this mindset, these challenges become opportunities for growth, not sources of despair. The disciplined speculator understands that true success is not found in predicting the unpredictable, but in controlling the controllable, his own actions, his own emotions, his own unwavering adherence to principle. He has learned that the greatest gains are often born from the greatest patience, from the stoic ability to wait for clarity, to act only when the odds are overwhelmingly aligned. Therefore, understand this: the market is unforgiving, but it is also abundantly rewarding to those who master its truths and, more importantly, master themselves. The winning mindset is not a secret formula, but an earned wisdom, forged in the crucible of experience and cemented by an unshakable commitment to discipline. It is the quiet strength that allows one to stand apart, to observe without emotion, to act without impulse. This is the path. This is the truth. If these hard-won lessons resonate, if you recognize the struggle within yourself, then the journey has begun. Embrace these principles, study them, internalize them. For true mastery is not merely understanding, but doing. Let this serve as your guide. Share these insights with those who seek true discipline. Subscribe to Livermore, mined for more truths forged in the fire of the market. And leave a comment below. What is the single most challenging rule for you to uphold? Your journey to consistent profitability awaits.